Before we begin, I'd like to briefly explain why I use a black screen in some of my informational videos. This is my way of demonstrating responsibility toward both the environment and your health. A black screen helps minimize the digital footprint, as storing data often requires building new data centers which can contribute to deforestation. It also conserves battery life on your devices, extending their lifespan, and reduces eye strain from bright screens. Dry fasting, Part 1. Theory. Dry fasting is different from the classic water fast in that the drinking regimen and any contact with water is completely absent. This contributes to a faster breakdown of fat. The roots of diseases are extracted much faster. The body accelerates the use of its own reserves, including the processing of damaged and unnecessary elements. This is accompanied by temporary changes in the internal environment, including an increase in acidity, which helps to cleanse the body of all foreign matter. The fact is that inflammation cannot exist without water. Any inflamed area swells with water. Microorganisms can only multiply in a water-sufficient environment. Water deficiency is extremely detrimental to inflammation. Microbes without water die instantly. During dry fasting, the body eats proteins that it takes from the tissues of organs that are less important to it. Firstly, diseased tissue, tumors, edema, adhesions, atherosclerotic plaques and blood vessels, etc. are eaten. This process is called autolysis in medicine. The body in the process of fasting operates on itself, subtly and painlessly eliminating harmful tissues. Autolysis is also present during normal water fasting, but dry fasting is much more effective. The regenerative and cleansing effect of dry fasting is 3 to 4 times greater than that of water fasting. Since water is a source of nutrition for both healthy and sick cells in the body, by blocking this nutrient channel, we create severe extreme conditions in a fight for survival. In nature, the fittest and strongest survive. Therefore, sick and weak cells do not survive. They die and fall apart. Those who have good organization, viable and wise genetic engineering remain. Those who were able to endure such harsh conditions survived and retained their ability. Fasting helps to get rid of the unnecessary, the weak, the sick, and the harmful. They do not fulfill their functions, work, duties, and it is better if you get rid of them in time than to let them die a natural death, because in this case they manage to create similar offspring for themselves. The same dead and inoperable remains. As the cells multiply, they divide. The offspring cannot be improved in quality, but the cells remain strong after fasting. They will give an improvement in quality during division. Your offspring will have the properties of stem cells. Dry fasting serves for 1. Effective stimulation of healing and recovery processes that increase the body's resistance and immunity. 2. Solving the problems of oncological diseases in early and late stages in a drug-free manner without resorting to radiotherapy. 3. Increasing creative potential. 4th. Strengthening and restoring regenerative and reparative processes in organs and tissues. 5. Relieving various painful conditions and chronic diseases at different stages of development. 6. Strengthening and rejuvenating the body. 7. Curing infertility and diseases of the urogenital area, improving the health of mothers and children. 8. Elimination of a stressful, depressive, lazy, and apathetic state. 9. Getting rid of excess weight, restoring proper metabolism in the body. 10. Successful fight against unhealthy habits. 11. Interruption of the chain of hereditary diseases. 12. Improvement and correction of vision and hearing. 13. Improvement of the functioning of the musculoskeletal system, combating osteochondrosis, etc. A rehabilitation and support program after serious injuries. 14. Protection against various adverse factors, external and internal, affecting the body from the environment. Psycho-emotional impact. Dry fasting as an informational, psychological, and emotional cleansing. During dry fasting, old dead water is replaced with high-quality living water synthesized by the body itself. Water, as you know, is the keeper of information. Therefore, during dry fasting, all negative information that has entered our body from the outside is erased. Having spent even a short fast without water, we force the body to process the water it contains, and thus we become informationally updated. At the end of the fast, we are pristine, and we are a well-washed vessel in which nothing negative is stored, and now our cup will begin to fill up with everything we put into it. This phenomenon is one of the main advantages of this type of fasting, and it can also be said that it is one of the main healing mechanisms of dry fasting. There are no such mechanisms in any of the types of healing fasting that exist in nature. Who especially needs dry fasting? Prolonged dry fasting is very effective in such serious diseases as rheumatoid arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, deforming osteoarthritis, and many others. Ovarian cysts resolve well, which does not happen with water fasting. After a concussion, mandatory preventive dry fasting is necessary. After a concussion, brain tissue becomes swollen, hence all the problems. The sooner the swelling stops, the faster the recovery will be. The prolonged dry fasting, for example, 11 days, allows you to qualitatively change physiology, activate tissue regeneration, the work of the mysterious pineal gland. Dry fasting is not only a powerful therapeutic tool, it is a way of self-knowledge, of integration of your life experience. It is an opportunity to open access to the unknown and unlimited hidden reserves of our body and psyche. Contrary to the established opinion that dry therapeutic fasting is subjectively more difficult to tolerate than wet fasting, there is rather an inverse relationship. The feeling of thirst in patients does not occur, except for a slight, dry mouth. The feeling of hunger and ill health caused by ketoacidosis stop faster. During dry therapeutic fasting, an earlier onset and more complete breakdown of fats is observed. Weight is lost 2 to 3 times faster, 1 to 3 kilograms per day. Any inflammation, as well as infection, is primarily an excess of water in the intercellular spaces. No excess water, no swelling, no inflammation. Unlike water fasting, during dry fasting, instead of cold, there is heat in the body and unusual resistance to frost. On the 7th to 9th day of dry fasting, there is a great desire to dive into the ice hole, rub oneself with snow. At the same time, you do not have to worry about getting cold. Important notes on the practice of dry fasting. Part 2. It is not recommended to practice dry fasting at work, at home near relatives and friends who lead a different lifestyle, in cities. Before practicing dry fasting, consult a specialist or learn more about all the details of the practice so as not to harm the body. It is best to stop dry fasting if it causes you headaches, nausea, and other unpleasant ailments. Try it again after a while. To make the dry fasting process easier in the future, adopt a vegan, raw, vegan, or fruitarian diet. Before gently transitioning, try water fast before dry fasting, and also cleanse your intestines. You will notice that you can practice dry fasting for more hours or days. There are certain contraindications to dry fasting. This means that a person should not begin dry fasting without prior preparation. If the person suffers from any disease, this preparation will be determined by a specialist depending on the nature of his/her disease. Dry fasting is contraindicated in the following cases. 1. Acute mental illness, hereditary mental disorder, severe head trauma, brain injury, schizophrenia, etc. Second, pregnancy. Third, kidney failure, acute infections, nephropathy, kidney stones, in which case it is better to fast with water. Fourth, general weakening of the body in severe forms, sudden drop in blood pressure, pieta hemophilia. 6. Cerebral palsy. 7. Thyrotoxicosis. 8. Large myocardial infarction. 9th grade 3 heart failure. Pata of the liver cirrhosis. 11th, thrombophlebitis. 12th, excessive thinness. Dry fasting is also strictly contraindicated in urban conditions. By not having to digest, all the energy from digestion then is available for the body's cleansing processes. If you do a dry fast in the city, your body will use that extra energy to eliminate toxins caused by all the chemical and electromagnetic pollution in the environment. Exhaust fumes from motor vehicles, radiation from electrical appliances, Wi-Fi, etc. As a result, the expected healing effect of your dry fast will be minimal and may even be harmful to your health. since during a dry fast the body absorbs oxygen in a more active way in order to be able to manufacture the substances it needs in the process. Dry fasting is a kind of surgical operation without anesthesia or a scalpel. To stay alive and nourished, the body only needs one thing from the outside: air. Therefore, if you want to achieve tangible results from dry fasting, you should do the process in a clean air environment, preferably in the mountains, in the forest, always far from the city and never in hot times like summer, in order to avoid dehydration of your body and an overly accelerated detoxification due to high temperatures and the powerful cleansing effect of the sun. How to start a dry fast for 1 day or 36 to 42 hours. Since this fast does not last long, you do not need to follow a strict transition diet either before or after the fast. To ease intestinal cleansing during a 36-hour dry fast, it is recommended to follow a fruit-based raw vegan diet a couple of days before and after the fast. Focus on hydrating fruits such as cucumber, watermelon, melon, tangerines, oranges, apples, pears, papayas, and similar options. If you need water, it is best to use pure water from natural sources. If that's not possible, satisfy your thirst with hydrating fruits, as they contain the highest quality structured water. To get the maximum effect from the fast and also to make it easier for you to endure it, you should eat in moderation before and after the fast. Do not eat any solid food after 3 p.m., and the last meal should be with juicy fruit before 6 p.m. Take a 1 to 3 hour walk outside. Try to go to bed early, and if you can't fall asleep, read a book, meditate, or do something else that helps you sleep. What to do the 2 days before the first day of fasting. 1. Get local, seasonal, juicy eco fruits for your break from fasting. 2. Don't overeat. 3. Eat only light foods, no animal products such as meat, fish, dairy products, cheese, eggs, and honey. Ideally, a raw vegan monofruit diet is best, just one type of fruit at each meal or throughout the day, and if you are thirsty, drink plain water. 4. In the morning, after the last day of eating, if I do prolonged fast, 4 to 7 or more days, the first thing I do is cleanse my intestines. In case you are eating cooked food, you can do it even if you go for 1 to 2 days of dry fasting, preferably 4 liters, in 2 passes. For this, I use a 2-liter enema. I usually heat a liter of water and dilute it with a liter of cold water. The main thing is that the water temperature is similar to body temperature or even a little warmer. Then the process will be easier. I prepare a place nearby where I can quickly move to defecate. I hang the enema on a tree branch and lie on the ground on my side. Then I turn on the enema tap and wait until all the water has come in. Then I go to defecate, and after the first 2 liters of water have come out, I repeat the procedure with another 2 liters. The second time around, it should be easier to retain water in your intestines, and you will be able to roll over on the floor, lift your legs, throw your legs over your head, stretch your stomach, turn from side to side, etc. The process of breaking the fast should last as many days as the fast itself lasted. Brush your teeth and tongue thoroughly without any toothpaste. If you drink water, then drink a glass of water. Do it slowly, chewing the water. After half an hour, when your stomach tells you to, you can start eating fresh organic cucumber with the skin, also little by little, chewing it slowly until it becomes liquid in your mouth. Cucumber has a neutral taste that won't cause too much appetite like other, more flavorful foods might. Within 24 to 36 hours after you break fasting, it's best to eat only juicy fruit, preferably cucumber or high-fiber fruits, no animal products, and no cooked or processed foods. Fruits like bananas, tomatoes, persimmons, durians, avocados, and nuts are better to eat in moderation. Avoid alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, coffee, black and green tea, cocoa, foods containing preservatives type E, chemical additives, meat, fish, seafood, eggs, cheese, milk, honey, cottage cheese, sour cream, fried foods, flour products, bread, rice, pasta, sugar, sweets, chocolate, butter, oil, and spices. Instead of all the above, supplement your diet with fruits, preferably eating them separately as a monodiet. Do not eat nuts, coconuts, seeds, or avocados for 3 days before the start dry fasting. Take more walks outdoors. Dear friends, before starting the practice of dry fasting, it's essential to be very cautious. Take the time to carefully study all aspects of the theory and practice to ensure proper preparation. If you have never practiced fasting or followed a fruitarian or raw vegan diet before, it's important to understand that gradual adaptation is key. Just as learning to play a new musical instrument requires time and practice, dry fasting also necessitates a step-by-step approach, starting with the basics. Be patient, attentive to your body, and mindful of your inner state. This can be compared to a serious procedure, though without surgical intervention. Remember that there is a risk of harming your health, potentially leading to fatal consequences, so exercise caution and responsibility at every stage.